We have a serious problem. Our main problem in the country is our debt crisis. And we almost shut down government a week or two ago, and you'd think, well, gosh, we've started, now it's really begun, and I can feel confident that we're going to be cutting spending and balancing our budget. It's not happening. We're winning the debate. Everybody's talking about cutting spending, but here are two things that you will not have read in the newspaper. They're absolutely true, and you can check them. This year we will spend more money than we did last year. We haven't reduced the amount of spending. This year our deficit will be greater than last year. So are we really doing anything? They said they were going to cut $38 billion, which pales in comparison to $1.6 trillion. It's virtually a rounding error, but it turns out even the $38 billion, when scored by the Congressional Budget Office, wasn't real either. It turns out it's about $300 billion. And when you talk about millions compared to trillions, we really aren't doing anything. It is my fear that the crisis will get worse. We have a tenuous economy now, but we are paying our bills. But we're paying most of our bills with about 1% interest. Jim just showed me a minute ago that they're talking about and still warning about downgrading U.S. debt. When they start talking about downgrading U.S. debt, that's a serious situation. The Chinese have bought a little over $1 trillion of our debt. The Japanese a little under $1 trillion. We depend on this continuous buying because we're continuously living beyond our means. But what's going to happen now? Japan has had a significant natural disaster. Will their buying habits be less? Will they buy less of our debt, or could they even possibly begin to sell our debt if they are in a financial situation that they can't are incapable of dealing with? I think we face serious problems. With the debt crisis, I think that is looming, we will have to do something. We'll have to cut spending. The problem is that every constituency comes to me and says, we want more money from Washington. And I tell them, look, if we had a balanced budget, if we brought in $2 trillion and spent $2 trillion, then it would be easy for me to advocate for your interest or for getting some money for a good project. We have things that need to be done. We have bridges in our state that need to be built. We have roads that need to be built. But we're out of money. And so what I tell the people who come to my office is the days of adding it on, of just simply coming in and saying, let's add on a new program, let's add on new money, they're gone. You need to come to my office and say, this guy's program's no good and mine's better. We need to begin to prioritize. Your mayor has to do it. Your mayor has to do it because what I told him when we were having lunch, he doesn't have a printing press. He has a finite amount of money. We're getting to a point where I think we will have a finite amount of money in Washington, where our borrowing will run short, or interest rates will rise, or we will begin to monetize more of our debt. But that ultimately can lead to the destruction of our currency. So I think we face serious times. Can we grow our way out of this? To an extent we can, by freeing up business and by opening up and embracing, the engine that is capitalism. I think we could. But I think that also it's going to take cutting of spending, and that's what people don't want to hear, because everybody sees the good in a program, but you need to understand that that's now being offset by the danger of carrying such a large debt and paying for such a large debt. I am proud to serve as your senator. The privilege is just an amazing thing for me to do this. And I go up there, I hope, with a unique perspective in the sense that I'm not afraid to come back. So when y'all are tired of me, bring me home. But while I'm there, I will try my best to try to fix the problems. I think really what is going on in Washington has for so long as people are afraid to fix the problems because they're afraid they'll be unelected. Social Security is one. I don't revel and jump up and down and say, gosh, this is going to be a lot of fun, raising the age of Social Security and means testing. I look at what the alternative is. If you don't do that, within a decade, entitlements and interest will occupy the whole budget. No money left for national defense, no money left for roads, no money left for anything if we do nothing. This is because of two facts. We're living longer, and people had a whole lot of babies right after World War II, and they're all getting ready to retire. And I'm not responsible for either one of those things. We introduced a bill this week that fixes Social Security in perpetuity. Can be done. What we did is we allow for the age to rise gradually on those 56 and under. The age rises to 70 over about a 24-year period. Do I like this? No. It means you have to wait longer. But if you ask young people, do you think you will have to wait longer? They all acknowledge it. It's been discounted. I use the analogy of, when the marketplace doesn't go up, they say interest rates rose today, but the marketplace didn't go up because the market had already discounted that knowledge. I think the young people in our country have discounted the knowledge, and they understand that the age will have to rise. We will means test the benefits as well. I told Sean Hannity this on television. He said, "But I paid in." I said, "Sean, I think you can afford to give up $200 a month." That's what it is, basically. Everybody will still receive Social Security, but it gets means tested, and you get a little bit more of a means test the more money you make. The alternative is once again, think of the alternative. The alternative is not doing nothing. The alternative is the other side wants to raise taxes. And I see things as productive sector, non-productive sector. The productive sector is you guys, the private sector. I don't want to take money out of the productive sector and give it to the non-productive sector. I'm willing to tell you that when you retire, you get less benefits, but I don't want to tax you more now. So I don't want to raise the caps on Social Security, and I don't want to increase FICA taxes, two of which are solutions to fixing Social Security, but I think they're inappropriate and the wrong way to go. We can fix Social Security, we can fix Medicare, but it will take people who are brave enough to propose the solutions. I think in some ways we may be approaching a time when maybe it's not even bad politics. I mean, you look at Chris Christie, who's tackling the problems head on, and I think people appreciate someone who will be frank and who will try to fix these problems. I think we live in the greatest country known to man. We had great founders, we had great founding documents. We embraced the idea of individual liberty. Also, our economic system is unparalleled, and I think we can grow a tremendous amount if we'll get government out of the way. I thank you very much for having me today, and I've enjoyed being back in Lexington. Thank you.